Hi everyone, welcome to Table for Two. I am the Elusive Bigfoot.
I'm Onezie.
And today we are going over our top 5 classic games in no particular order, except for the last one. So these are games that, when we say classic, we're thinking like they've been around for a good 30, 40 or more years. All right, and they're games that, for one reason or another, they mean something to us. Okay?
All right. So the first one up on my list for classic games is Mousetrap.
That's on mine.
Ah, it's a duplicate.
It's a duplicate.
All right. So Mousetrap, I think, came out when I was a kid. Or at least I was first exposed to
It was already out when I was a kid, for sure.
Yeah. And it has the toy factor. You build the mousetrap while you play the game.
Yeah.
And then who knows whether it's going to work or not after you activate it.
Say more about that, because that's part of it.
Well, a ton of plastic pieces in the box, and during the course of the game, you're allowed to place pieces on the board.
Right. Almost like in a Rube Goldberg style.
It's a Rube Goldberg type machine.
Yeah.
And when a mouse gets to the end, to the cheese, you turn a crank and some marbles roll around and things flip. And either the bucket comes down and catches the mouse, or it doesn't.
Or the little trap, the net trap.
Yeah, the net. So you never really know. That's part of the fun is, did you build it the right way collectively so that it will actually work at the end of the game?
Right. And as the more you play this game, I think the more worn the pieces get, so they don't exactly work. But I mean, I just had so much fun playing this over at a game convention. It was over, I think, Dice Tower West that we played it. And it was a game that I had never got to play when I was a kid. So I really, really wanted to play this game. And people kept coming over to our table to look at this game, and they were talking about, like, I remember playing this game where I haven't played this. I'm like, it's right over there. We'll put it back when we're done. You guys go check it out.
People love Mousetrap.
They do. It's a great looking game.
So that's my first pick.
Okay, so we duplicated on that. My next game is Sorry. Pieces around a board, and if you land on the same piece as your opponent has to go back to start. And the idea is to get all your pieces into home first.
I'm remembering there's like a slide where you can slide over a bunch of spaces or something like that. Is that Sorry?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've played it.
Yeah. I like that game.
Okay.
All right, the next one up on my list is Scrabble. A tile game, a word game, crossword puzzle type game. It's great. 2 to 4 players.
Yeah.
Or I suppose there's a solo mode. Somebody's probably figured that out.
Probably.
But yeah, Scrabble. It's great if you're a wordy person.
Yeah.
A thinky person. There's not much luck in it. It's pretty much your vocabulary.
Well, except for drawing the tiles. That's kind
Drawing the tiles out of the bag is luck. This is true.
Yeah. Okay. My next game is a game where he's great at it and I'm terrible at this game. It is Connect 4. We play this game actually on a mobile app, and I'll give you the link to that. It's you're just dropping your disc into one of these different slots, and you're trying to connect 4 in a row, whether it's across, up and down, or diagonal. It's just, I generally don't see this coming like, I have my eye on this one, and he grabbed this one. There you go. You won again.
It's like tic-tac-toe on steroids.
Almost like that. Yeah, with one more.
All right, the next game on my list is Clue. Clue. So Clue is a whodunit game, mystery game. You got to figure out who the murderer was, what room the murder happened in, and what the weapon was. And you do this with cards. The solution to the answer is on cards that are hidden in an envelope. And you spend the game gathering information about what wasn't used. And you use that to eliminate things. It's a process of deduction. So you can pretend to be Sherlock Holmes and solve the mystery.
They have a great movie that came out, I think, in the late 70s, early 80s for the movie Clue, where if you went to the movie, depending on when you went to see it in the theater, it was dependent on which version you saw at the end. So it was encouraging you to see this multiple times. and it does a great take on the game. It's so funny.
What's next up on your classic list?
All right, the next game that I listed is a game that actually is near and dear to my heart. It is cribbage. This is one of the first games I ever learned to play when I was a kid, and the way that I learned the game is my father would spot me because you're trying to go around this track, and it depends, of course, on your cribbage board. We had a basic one, so you went around the track twice, and by then you would get to 121 points, and that's the game. You want to get to 121. So my father would spot me an entire round, so I only had to go around once while he went twice. In this game, you're gaining points by making certain combinations. Combination of 15, 21, a pair, matching the jack. You get a separate set of cards called your crib. You donate 2 cards, your opponent donates 2 cards, and depending on whose turn it is to have the crib, you get those extra points. So you're planning ahead, and when is it most advantageous to do it? The reason why this game is so near and dear to my heart is, besides getting to play with my father, as I got better and better, he would give me less and less points if he would spot me. I mean, at one point he said, okay, I'll spot you to here. Okay, instead of going all the way around, I'm just, when you go down one side, now I'm not spotting you at all. And at first I was so upset as a child. I was probably 8 years old, and I couldn't understand why he wouldn't spot me anymore. And my mother explains, because you're so good at it now, you guys are equal partners. And so that was such an important game for me to play with my father. It was a great bonding time I had with him. Great memories.
This was a dad game for me too. My dad still loves to play cribbage.
Nice.
And he's amazing at spotting all the points right away.
Very good. Maybe I'll play him when we go up there and visit
Sometimes it takes me a little while to hunt for the 15s and all that stuff. But he's super good at it.
Great.
The next one up on my list of classic games is Parcheesi.
Oh, that is such a good one.
Parcheesi, you come out of your starting zone, you roll dice to move all the way around the board, you go up a little track to home base. I believe you got to get there by the exact amount.
Yeah.
And get all your pieces home. There are some variations that are called other things, but that's Parcheesi. There were many good family nights of Parcheesi when I was a kid. I think we at one point put a prize money of $1. Whoever won got the $1.
Wow.
And that's Parcheesi.
That's a great game. That was also a family game that we had. Nice. Okay. I think we're down to our number 1. Is that right?
Last ones.
Okay. Would you like to go first?
No, you please.
Okay. So I'm going to explain why this is also so near and dear to my heart. It is mahjong. So for those of you who don't know, I am half Chinese, and we would play this game all the time. Our grandparents taught it to us. My dad had grown up with this game, and so when they used to visit us, we would be playing this all the time. And it is a game, it's kind of like Rummy, but in 3-dimensional tiles, and there's certain things you're trying to do at the same time. The point scoring, you can do it either basic, like either you win or not, or you go by wins, and the wins will move around. Whoever has certain northeast, south, or west, depending on if you're considered the banker, you get double points, or maybe it just affects the scoring in a different way. Love this game. When I had the opportunity to go to Hong Kong about 15 years ago, I made sure to pick up a set while I was there. I had to have one. It is such a gorgeous, gorgeous game. As mahjong.
Right, and I think you should also explain a little bit how the mahjong game differs from the mahjong game.
Oh, that's a good point. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, when I first heard of mahjong, it was a solitaire puzzle game where you're trying to remove tiles from a puzzle. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what mahjong that you play, what that actually is?
Yeah, so instead of like removing tiles from like a pyramid of tiles because it matches, what you're trying to do is create sets like Rummy. So a 2 of a kind at the very end, which is considered the eye, a 3 of a kind, which is a pong, or a ping, which is a run. The suits will matter also when you're scoring points, and you create a great wall of tiles around it. So it operates like a 3-dimensional version of Rummy is the easiest way that I can explain it. So much fun.
All right, and that brings me up to my top game.
Ooh, excited. What did you get?
Top classic game for me is chess.
Ooh, that's a good one.
2-player game, war game. all the pieces move, some of them in different ways than the other pieces. And the idea is to try to capture the king. So you can kill off as many of your pieces as you want to, but you got to have enough left over to capture the king of the other player. It's a classic battle. It seems like it would be pretty simple. Limited number of pieces, limited number of squares. Yet, for many, many, many years, centuries maybe.
Definitely centuries.
People play this game and become experts on it, and they still lose, and they still win.
Yeah.
And people are still figuring out the best way to do it.
Yeah. And one thing I also love about the game is that depending on what is your passion, you can find different themes for the pieces. I've seen Bart Simpson kind of games. I've seen Mario Brothers. I have seen things that look like political figures for the different pieces, all different themes around your chess set. So, and I've seen miniature versions, which I used to have a very small miniature version, and I've seen large versions. And they're even malls, they'll do giant versions of the game. So you just pick up your piece and move it, walk it over.
So one thing I think I should work on developing is a cooperative version of chess. As far as I know, there's not a co-op version of chess. It is a war game. Yeah. So I'm not sure how we do that, but I want to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting. All right, so that is our top 5 games in no particular order, except for the final one. If you like this, please like and subscribe. That'll let us know what kind of videos that you like, and that'll help it come to the top. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Elusive Bigfoot.
And I'm Onezie.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.